Outside and get somewhere, right, Joni? Thanks. Well, Indiana's had several people make it big in the music industry. John Mellencamp, Babyface, Jackson's among the first names that come to mind. That may be about to change. Take a look. When you think of Seymour, Indiana, normally just one person comes to mind. Well, John, there might be a successor to your throne. Meet Fred Gill, Seymour's next big thing. Some people might know him by his day job as a real estate owner and manager.
This is all of our keys, 259 of them.
Some know him by his other day job, pub owner.
This is the funky mug.
That's not all.
I developed my own blend of seasoning called Fat Freddy's. I've got 6 flavors here.
Oh yeah, he's got one other job we haven't mentioned. Meet 2-Foot Fred, member of the Music Mafia, which stands for Musically Artistic Friends in Alliance.
Mafia's been around for 3 or 4 years in Nashville. Started off as an underground kind of music scene.
And that scene has grown to include nearly every form of art, from painting to singing.
And picked up people like Gretchen Wilson, James Otto, Shannon Lawson, just Cowboy Troy, just a whole myriad of people.
Fred Gill, better known as 2-Foot Fred to the rest of the Mafia, is as big a part as anyone else in the group. While he doesn't sing, rap, or paint, his business sense and creativeness come in handy. From directing and starring in one of Big and Rich's music videos to just adding an extra element to their stage show, Fred contributes in his own way, and that's what makes the Music Mafia special.
Gretchen, call the Godfathers!
But you've got to be ready when opportunity comes knocking.
They said, why don't you just come out and hop on the bus with us? I said, that's all I need to know. I'm coming.
So from growing up in a small town with little pink houses, Fred Gill didn't have to learn to play guitar to make it big.
It will fit in like the trunk of a limo. Are we taking a private jet? So yeah, it's happened very much more quickly than I could have dreamed of. I believe that everything happens for a reason. It's it's awesome.
And Fred's on his way here. We're going to talk to him a little bit later in the show. I've never said that. Are we taking the private jet? I want to be able to say that once and mean it.
Where are we going?
It doesn't matter where you're going if you have a private jet, anywhere you want. If you've missed out on some of the final movies of 2004, here's your chance to catch up on them. Kim's going to take one last look at your weekend forecast after the break. First, we have a celebrity among us. Country fans know 2-Foot Fred from the hot Nashville-based Music Mafia, but to Hoosiers, he's Fred Gill. We're going to continue chatting with him about the Mafia, Nashville, and a whole lot more after the break.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a horse, ride a cowboy.
My wife loves this song, loves the video, and just the concept. Country music fans know him as 2-Foot Fred, member of the Music Mafia. Chances are, to a lot of people around Indiana, he's just plain old Fred Gill. No matter how you know him, you know him, and he's here. And we appreciate you coming in this morning.
And if you don't know me, you will.
That's right, because, man, you're a busy man. We're surprised and very happy that you took time out to be with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
People know who you are, know you from the Big and Rich video, but they don't all know the story of how you hooked up with Big and Rich and all these other country music artists you're involved with.
It's kind of a cool story. I was down in Nashville, Tennessee, about 7 years ago. We were trying to figure it out, the timeline, John Rich and I. But I was down for Fanfare, which is like a huge fan gathering in Nashville, almost like a Woodstock for country music fans every year in Nashville in June. And I was down there just as a fan. I'm an avid country music fan, and met John Rich in a watering hole one night. And I recognized him. He was in Lone Star, the country music band Lone Star, and has the longhorn mustache. And so I recognized him from that, and just struck up a conversation, and we exchanged email addresses, stayed in touch over the years, and then he had formed Big and Rich and had been signed by Warner Brothers record label. And things were just coming together, and then they had the Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy video concept. And he pitched me to the guys, to everybody, and they all thought it was a great idea. And I went down last April 15th. I remember it because it was tax day.
Yeah, that sticks out on the calendar.
And I caught my birthday with the Mafia. And so went down, did the video, had a great time, met everybody else in our world, the Music Mafia, Big Kenny, just Gretchen Wilson, everybody involved, and just really, really felt welcomed and just felt like a family.
Now, this Music Mafia, it reminds me, when Robert Redford first started Sundance, he just wanted to have this place where actors could come together and practice and throw things, you know, brainstorm and things. It sounds like this is the country music equivalent of that.
Identical. I mean, it's all about the music with the Mafia. And it started out in a place called the Pub of Love in Nashville on a Tuesday night, the worst night of the week, at 10 o'clock, late enough that people who were there were serious about music. And they just jammed. And it just started growing and growing and growing. And to now, if we have a Mafia in Nashville, you can't hardly get in the place.
Now, you're very busy just with the country music side, but you're busy doing all these other things. I want to know, Ball State grad, right?
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
From Ball State.
Did you have an entrepreneur type mind, so you decided to go to Ball State, or did the Ball State program trigger the entrepreneur in you to do all these different things?
I had an entrepreneurial type mind. I went there seeking out the entrepreneurship program. My parents and my grandparents are all small business owners, and it just really, I think it's in my blood. And so, yeah, I see opportunities and ventures, and I just can't stop.
You have the Funky Monkey.
Funky Monkey Pub in Seymour.
You have a line of spices.
Called Fat Freddy's Seasonings.
And anything else going on, or maybe you probably have a lot of things, your hands in a lot of cookie jars. Maybe you don't want to talk about yet.
I actually signed I've got a merchandise deal with Rayball, which Rayball is the Music Mafia-based record label that is an offshoot of Warner Brothers. And I have I'm a Rayball artist, and I have a merchandise deal where I sell my merch on 2footfred.com.
There you go. Or musicmafia.com, probably do that link as well. Should we talk about what you're not doing? Because I think it's probably a shorter list.
Probably would be. Probably would take less time.
And coming up next week, we're going to see you on the Country Music Awards, right?
You are. On Monday night on CMT, the CMT Music Awards. I'm performing with Big and Rich.
Sheesh. What else you want to talk about? I mean, this is...
Taking over the world.
Do you have an assistant to keep this stuff straight?
I actually am in the process of talking to publicists and agents and assistants. It's kind of a situation where you kind of, you build what you're doing, and then everything really will fall into place. It's not something you can really force. Just, for instance, like with the Mafia, they didn't force any of that. It was all really natural and a natural progression.
You didn't sit down with a business plan and say, I want to come up with this.
Exactly.
You felt it, right?
And I think that's where the genuine music and where the genuine heart comes from. I'm
guessing despite the fact that you have all these things, you're this busy, you don't really feel like you're working, do you?
I don't. Honestly, on the road, and I really and truly, I love what I do, and I've always loved what I've done, so I don't ever feel like it's work. And when you start feeling like it's work, then you need to start thinking about changing your direction.
Good advice. We appreciate you coming in. We loved having you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Kim, tell us a little bit about the weekend forecast.
Fred, it's great to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, let's look at your weather forecast for this weekend. It looks like this. Maybe Fred can help me out. Saturday, 71 degrees, and then Sunday?
73 degrees and beautiful.
Nice.
All right, great job. Okay, your first look today, a high of 65
degrees.
Okay, and have a great weekend setting up, and looks terrific. Can't beat it. You better relax this weekend.
I know it.